The Border Management Authority says its drone technology is yielding positive results. A 61% increase in the number of interceptions and arrests were recorded during the Easter period. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho is live from the capital, Pretoria, where we heard from the border management officials a short time ago. Katleho, those are really incredible results. And we know that this time, of course, we've had a lot more people visit South Africa. The BMA Commissioner there telling us that OR Tambo was the key recipient of a number of our guests. But there's a lot embedded in some of their successes that he just shared. So walk us through some of those.
Certainly, Iman. During a 10-day period of the Easter period, the Border Management Authority really calling their operations during that time a success and really saying the game changers was the use of drones and body cams. And just some of the stats really show an uptick in travelers during that time, specifically around 1,500,000, over 1,500,000 travelers recorded during that time, but also on the downside, about over 6,200 people being apprehended, trying to enter the country unlawfully. And the commissioner there outlining that the use of this high-tech technology assisting in being able to identify any lawbreakers. But I just want to show you here, Iman, what some of this technology actually looks like. The commissioner did explain to us that the use of drones at body cams really helped in being able to have a bird's eye view, giving surveillance when people try to cross unlawfully into the country, and also being able to track people in the bushes as they move using this drone technology. So it's a better option, as was explained, to then using guards who would, drive with their cars, vehicles through the bushes, trying to see if people are illegally moving through into the borders. And this is a much more efficient and precise use of technology in maintaining the integrity at the borders. But to get more, I do have with me the Commissioner to give us more details. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, you took us through this presentation of what technology has been, how it has been assisting BMA. Just take us through, Commissioner. Going forward, do you see more arrests happening during the December festive period, going into next year, as well as you mentioned the G20?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Katleho. We really appreciate this opportunity as the Border Management Authority. Yes, indeed, the drones had been a very, serious game changer in terms of the work that we do. As I've indicated, they actually enable us to be able to see. And by the way, we are just not seeing the people as they enter our side. We can also see them preparing almost on the other side, on the way to our side, as it were. Mm-hmm. And that is why we are able to literally allow them to move so that we can be able to intercept them at the right time and make sure that they get deported. Mm-hmm. But the most important part, Katleho, over and above the 6,000 that you have cited, we talk about 112. Which the majority are facilitators that we have arrested. And that is the area of focus. And we are looking at ensuring that that particular number then gets amplified as we go forward. And by the way, the most important part of this particular deployment of the drones is not just a temporary issue that we do in festive as we do now. Mm-hmm. We are going to then be having this as a full-time deployment activity, which is going to be happening throughout the time. So based on your question, yes, we are expecting more of the arrest. But we don't want just to have more arrest. We want people to stop attempting to enter the country illegally. That is our objective. So if people know that they're going to be seen, if people know that when they facilitate, they're going to be arrested on the South African side, they will definitely stop. And ultimately, we have less and less illegal migration. And that is our objective.
Mm-hmm. Now, Commissioner, take us through this phenomenon of the facilitator. You did explain it there, but just take us through it. Take us through it again, how it works perhaps at the ports of entry, outside the ports of entry. What is a facilitator?
Yeah, you see, facilitators are people that actually assist people to be able to cross into the country illegally. So if we can talk about Beitbridge, we can give scenarios about every other port. But if you talk about Beitbridge, the first thing that they do, especially during this time when the river is, there's a lot of water. Yeah. So at that time, what they do, they have some makeshift boats. They put people into the boat. They can put around 40 people into that particular boat. And after putting 40 people, each one pay 400 rands. Mm-hmm. So on that basis, they make them to cross, the Limpopo River into our side. Then when they're on our side, they literally facilitate them through the bushes because people don't know the routes. So they will literally lead them and say, this is the route, this is the route. The main objective is to go back to the corridor, to be able to go back to N1 so that they can get transport. So what they do, they also link up with the transporters on the South African side and tell them that, no, I have 10. If you have a taxi, then you bring your taxi on the bushes along the N1, and then people come through and all of that. So the drones enabled us to be able to see them as they facilitate, and we even see the taxi as it comes through. And that is why we're able to identify them and also arrest the facilitator plus the actual driver. That is outside port. Inside port, we have started to mitigate that, because before we could bring access control at the entry gates into the port, before people will just walk into the port. So when they are in the port, they will facilitate people into the port and get them to go and get their passport stamped illegally and end up coming into the country. We have started to mitigate that, and that is why we've started to put our border guards at the entry gates and make sure that no person is allowed in the port, because remember, a port is a national key point. Nobody is allowed in the port unless they are a legitimate traveler with requisite documents. So that has started to assist us in as far as that is concerned. So we are actually amplifying this thing going forward. The two arrested officials at Bait Bridge, our officials, they were actually doing the same, trying to facilitate people in, but because of the measures we've put in, they were identified and they were arrested on the spot.
We'll leave it there for now, Commissioner. Thank you so much for your time. So certainly you hear it there, Iman, lots of intervention by the BMA from a technological perspective in working with making sure that those who are entering our ports of entry are doing so illegally and having the muscle, the power to identify when people are trying to break the law. So certainly a positive outlook in terms of the travelers, the BMA noting there that they want people to come into the country, but they need to do so according to the law, and there was an increase of about 8% of travelers during the Easter period this year.
Katleho Sekhotho, I've covered borders in my reporting years and years ago, and one of the perennial complaints has been around South Africa's porous borders. Judging by what we heard today, to the employment of technology and also collaboration across those 10 departments, including land and SARS and others, we seem to be tightening things and changing the picture. So certainly a confident message coming out of the BMA today insofar as South Africa's border controls are concerned. It's good to see some things working and start to work in South Africa.